How do you get your wife to notice and care about your changes? I know most guys watching this video feel incredibly stuck in their marriage. You are desperately fighting to show her that you are committed and have changed. But the more you seem to try and show her, the less she seems to care. If she could only know what is true in your heart, that this time your changes are permanent, because now you know how much it means. If she could see that, she would take you back in a heartbeat. You just don't know how to get her to see it. If that is you, then I need you to pay close attention, because in today's video, I'm gonna show you how you can get your wife to notice and care about the changes you are making, to give your marriage a fighting chance. I will do this using 3 concepts that lead to the You Are principle you need. And at the end of the video, I will show you actions that you can best take that will change her mind about your separation. My name is Josh Hudson. I'm a licensed therapist with over a decade of experience saving men's marriages when the wife wants a divorce or separation. Now, getting your wife to notice and care about your changes is by far the most common question I get from men in my marriage mastery program. Most men think that once she sees your changes and knows they are set in stone, that she will come back. And that's actually wrong. Look, I know you're feeling stuck, hopeless, saying to yourself, if she only gave me a second chance, I can show her that I've changed and then we'd be good. The main thing you are lacking is the You Are principle. Now, this stands for Uncertainty Reduction Principle. The men who adopt this are able to effortlessly show the wife changes without her even trying. She feels safe with you, and that sense of safety creates a lack of uncertainty in her emotional state, which creates like a magnet effect that brings her closer to you. Men who don't understand this will go about ignorant of this principle, stay stuck, spinning their wheels, slowly losing any hope of keeping their wife. Now let's go over the 3 micro principles leading to the You Are principle. Now I'm gonna teach you how to adopt it for yourself, but the best place to start is to understand exactly how your wife is feeling in this present moment. She may say one thing, but then think and feel another. And that's why I'm gonna share with you my coach Liz's personal story on the matter. She's a coach in my marriage mastery program. Now, Liz is very special because she's an amazing person, super smart, been working with guys saving their marriages, but most importantly, her and her husband reconciled after divorcing. So she has a unique perspective on the situation in your wife's shoes. So you need to listen to her because her perspective is vital for your success.
Hey, my name is Liz. I'm a coach here on staff at Marriage Mastery. Super excited to share just a little bit of my personal story and what it looked like to reconcile with my now again husband. So just to sort of set the scene here, Brandon and I had an epic divorce. The best way I can describe what that process was for us was scorched earth. It was expensive. He chose to not kind of fight fair, and it was just destructive. The lawyers got rich. I left with nothing. It really was. It's a part of the reason why I'm here, right? I don't want anyone to have to go through what Brandon and I went through in the process of divorce. But purpose here is to share a little bit of hope with what my actual life story looked like. So when our divorce was final, Brandon and I didn't see each other for a little bit. We didn't speak other than about the children. And this was when our daughter was just starting kinder. So I mustered up every bit of courage and strength that I had. You know, we'll show up for our kids regardless of what our comfort level is. So the first time I had seen him, sort of after the dust had settled, I remember like listening to my worship music, trying to get myself in the zone to show up in the best way possible for my daughter at her like meet the parents night. And the first thing that I remember, it's big double doors. So I was walking in and Brandon was there and he had our daughter with him. And I instantly was like, what is happening here? Like something is different here. So what I noticed first was that he was really calm, which was a big change. Very calm, very cool. Really looked like he had it together, which was a big change from when I had seen him previous to that. So he was very calm. He was really confident, and he cracked a joke at me. And at first I was like, who does he think he is, like cracking a joke at me? You just destroyed my life. But he cracked a joke, and it really, I would say that was like the first chink in me kind of letting my guard down. And I felt that anxiety sort of start to release pretty slowly. We ended up sitting together in the library with our daughter. She was, coloring, and she was so excited. And we were just making small talk. He made eye contact. He was in his masculine frame, very open body language. And all of that was like a massive shift. Previously, like he prioritized me as like the center of his life, and our kids were the other part of his life. There was no balance. It's a lot of weight on one person, right? We need balance. And I noticed straight away that something was different. And that's sort of how we started communicating again about more than just our kids. It started off as, the basics. How are you? How's work? And it really got the ball rolling from there. And that's actually the first step. It was a baby step, but a really strong step towards us getting to know each other. And then that's, to be able to start that process of reconciliation. So I am super transparent. I share this really openly, but it was very extreme. I coach men all day long, and everyone always says things like, well, coach, you don't know my wife. She's stubborn. Our divorce is messy. And although comparison is a robber and a thief, I have yet to meet someone whose breakup and divorce was as epic as ours was. But I will tell you, when there's that many emotions involved, anger, what's underlying anger? It's fear. Where's that fear really coming from? So if we had a chance, I believe that there's hope. There's always hope until you as a human decide there isn't. So gratitude for the space to share the story, and hopefully I'll get to see y'all soon.
The second micro principle of uncertainty reduction is her testing mechanisms. Every woman in the world unconsciously will always test the man they're with. The reason they do this is because she wants to know she's with that high value man. And a woman can only know she's with a high value man if she does things to bring out his highest self. Unfortunately, a lot of guys who are not really educated on this, because no one really teaches this except for here, subscribe. What happens is that they will see her tests and criticisms as, they'll see it as complaints, her nagging, making stabs at me, being mean. That's not what she's doing. The reason why she's doing this is because she wants you to become unreactive. She wants you to become unreactive because if she says, if he can pass my test, I can trust him to protect me. She needs to feel safe. It is inherent biological drive based on thousands of years of evolution to test you to see if you're unreactive, that she can rely on you. This is built into her internal software. Look, and this is also backed by science when it comes to attraction and relationship studies and psychology, as you can see. And when I speak to every single man in my marriage mastery program, when they first met their wife, they were unconsciously doing this. They were a leader. They were, whether in the military, they were captain of the high school football team, they were just on their purpose in life. They were non-reactive. They were not avoiding conflict. They were on their purpose as a man. But slowly over time, the guys relax. They become complacent. They take for granted the wife. And slowly, this secure base that you had with her, that she felt safe and protected by, provided for, starts to deteriorate, starts to fall apart. That's the man who has no boundaries, who gives up, who retreats. Or the guy becomes so controlling himself that she feels suffocated. So she leaves the base. And what happens over time is that if you recognize with her uncertainty, that if you make these changes yourself, she'll see those changes to the base over time, right? Paint's done, it's been remodeled, foundation's there. When she comes back to you, she's not gonna just move right in, everything's gonna be great. She's gonna grab a giant sledgehammer. She's gonna take it and start smacking the bottom of the foundation all hard, right? She can start scratching off the paint. The reason she does this is because she wants to make sure it's legitimate. And this is where so many guys fail when they start showing the wife the changes. Because at the very bottom rung of the stages of development and reconciliation is apathy, is moving away. And if she's coming back to you and testing you harder, complaining and criticizing, getting upset, it's a good sign. My client Jason and I talked about this the other week. You see, his wife was complaining and criticizing, and if he wasn't working with me, he would have saw that as, you know what, she's being even worse. It's getting worse, Josh. She's being more mean to me. I just can't handle it. I'm done. I said, Jason, her testing you is a good thing. If she didn't care, she wouldn't be saying these things. She's only getting upset because she's like, all right, I see you stepping up now. You're stepping up and becoming the man that I think you are. But let me test you to see if you react. Because if you react, you haven't changed. But if you maintain that apex male who's unreactive and just can hold that space for me, I can trust you again. I can open up, I can soften up with you, and things get better. And the men that do that, the wives eventually do soften up, feel safe, and things get better. Now, this third and final point is what I call the endeavor paradox. Back in college, I first taught guys dating advice, dating coaching. My thesis in grad school was short-term mating selection behaviors in women. So basically why women chose men to hook up with. I was in college, so don't judge me. What I'm trying to make is there's a story where I learned this valuable lesson for this third thing. I was fully starting to understand the paradox of attraction in a woman. I was at a party with this other guy who I kind of knew. And no, this guy, he was just like my old self. There was this girl we were both talking to. It was me, him, and her. And the whole time I understood these deep underlying principles about female psychology and getting women to be drawn to a man based off these principles. The whole time, the way he was talking, he was boasting himself off. And every time she would say something, he's like, oh, I have that in common. Oh, you like country music? I love country music. Oh, we're from the same hometown. Oh my gosh, we do this, we do that. And he's trying to find all of these commonalities. He was seeking rapport from her and trying to show her how much they connected. Look, and also, you like a lavish lifestyle. I have this cool Rolex on my wrist. Like, oh, we're a perfect match. And the whole time, what I was doing was the exact opposite. I was saying, you know what, we're not really a good match. Like, I hate country music. Like, you know what, I just think we're just too different. I'm never gonna get along with you. You should just leave. The whole time he was looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're pushing this girl away. Like, she's not gonna like you. Like, what are you doing? Because logically, when it comes to attraction, it would make sense that she would get along with the guy that had all these commonalities. I mean, in her head, they were a perfect match. But that night, she left with me. Now, how does this relate to showing your wife changes in a marriage? The current state you're in, by trying to show her changes, that act in itself, that intention in itself is having the opposite effect. It's walking up to her and saying, hey, look at me. Notice how much I'm changing. Look, see all these things I'm doing? That is being needy. And she's going to reject the neediness, even if those changes are real in your mind. But if you truly made these changes in yourself, it's not something you have to try to do. So going back to that story, attraction is not an action you take. It's who you are. You don't have to purposely show it. You cannot force attraction. It's not a logical process. You cannot force her to come back to you by seeing all these logical changes you are making. You become that man, truly understand these changes, embody them, and then you don't have to try anymore. You see, the man that is attractive, he just is. Everything that comes out of his mouth is high value. The man that tries to show the woman, that walks up to her, that buys her a drink in the bar, shows the Rolex, puts out his keys on the, bar there. It's like, hey, I drive a nice little Model S Tesla Black. I like that car, by the way, but the point I'm trying to make is that the more he tries, the less it works. So there has to be a process of letting go, because that letting go makes her feel safe, that you're not going to force it on her, because that forcingness and that neediness is what repels her. And for most men, this is why I think, honestly, after doing this for a very long time, a decade now, so it really stops them from getting their wife back when she wants to pull away. Because logically, you are making these changes. You're trying your hardest to show her, but it's coming from a place of neediness, emptiness, of feeling less than and insecure. And until you fix that, she will never come back. You can quote me on that. I've seen it far too many times. I am 100% certain, after saving hundreds of marriages, that is gospel, that is truth, and there's no way around it. The only way to get through that, to get to a place where you want her in your life, but you don't need her, is by doing deep work with other people who can offer you different perspectives. Go see a therapist, get expert advice. Set up a call with me down below, my team. It's free. If you're committed, we will help you out. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.